Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives on how to approach a career in the field from different artists, producers, engineers, and other great minds who share their stories on not only what's made them succeed, but also what has shaped them into the people that they are today. I hope you gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you in your endeavors on your own journey towards success as well. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to episode 161 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creators Series. Today I welcomed an artist, a manager, and a radio show host out of Orange County, California. His name is YBG. He discussed his time in radio, starting out in college radio, interviewing different artists and other creatives, and how that inspired him to get back into doing music himself. He talked about building his artist catalog, in which he's been performing a lot recently, and focusing more on being a manager for an artist who he met in the local area as well. He also runs shows and other local events with his wife, and he talked about, kind of just going through the processes of getting the word out there, organizing those events, and just making all those cool things happen. So I think YBG has a lot of cool things going on. I appreciated his, views on how to balance those things and how to keep your mental health and your physical health at the forefront of everything you do. So that way, you achieve the balance necessary to have success. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what he has coming up in the future. And I definitely hope you guys enjoy this one as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, welcome everyone to episode 161 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creators Series. Today I have a guest. He's out of the Orange County area in California, has radio background. He's an artist as well. Everyone, please welcome YBG to the show. How are you, man?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on. Hello.
Absolutely, man. I know we connected probably a month or two ago at this point. And I'm definitely excited because, like I said, I know you have radio background, journalism background, that stuff too. So that's going to be exciting to dive into. But to start off, for those that might not be familiar with you and what you do, just introduce yourself. How long have you been doing music? All that good stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So I started. I went to Cal State Fullerton University, and 2015 is when I first got into the college radio. And literally just started doing it just because out of curiosity. I was trying to get more involved with school, trying to find other things to do. And I found out about the radio station. I kind of just why not give it a shot? And, I ended up being something I was naturally really good at. And it gravitated to becoming a full-on show. And from there, I started interviewing a lot of hip-hop artists. Mm-hmm. And from that, interviewing the artists, I would have them freestyle on the show. I would have a live DJ on the show. And then that kind of led me where I always was writing music since I was 10 years old. I had notebooks of songs and stuff, but it was always for fun. It was never to take it serious. Mm. And, after interviewing artists for the first year, it just kind of inspired me. I think I could do this too. Because they were just starting out too, these local upcoming artists, So that inspired me to for myself to just because I do radio doesn't mean I could still be an artist as well, Yeah. And that later on lead to where I started doing shows, and Titan Radio would put together, which is the radio station called Cal State Fullerton, Titan Radio. They would put together on campus concerts and stuff, and I would help put it. I would want to be part of the team and help with all the marketing or setup and all that stuff. And then I got to perform later on, and then that's what led me to start doing a lot of events. And now I'm pretty much an event coordinator of my own business with me and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So.
That's super awesome, man. And it's great to see how one thing kind of leads to another. You know what I mean? You start off doing the college radio thing. You probably didn't even imagine it would get to the point where it is now.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Hell no, bro. And like I said, literally, I just joined the radio station because I was just trying to find some more things to do. Mm-hmm. And that's literally how it started. I think it's crazy to me. Yeah, for sure. If it wasn't for my years, I did 4 years of that too, college radio. If it wasn't for that, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So I give a huge gratitude to just the school and the radio station itself. Mm-hmm. So
Were there any artists that you interviewed back then that are still like pretty prominent today? Like any big names that you remember getting the chance to interview, or it was kind of just like students that were kind of doing music at the time, or you've never really reconnected with anyone, or
Um, man, it's been a while.
I was
You
gonna
know
say.
what? Okay, it wasn't just artists I interviewed.
Hmm.
I tried to interview a lot of different people, and you know what? There is one person. So I was friends with him. He went to Cal State Fullerton. He's a big Twitch streamer now. But when I interviewed him, man, I think it had to be 2018. I think it was 2018. I remember before that, he was barely starting out putting out like YouTube videos of him playing. I
Hmm.
forgot what games, but he's just putting out YouTube videos. I remember he like first told me this when he was first starting out, and yeah, and then he started kind of building a following on YouTube, and he was a basketball player for the team too at Cal State Fullerton.
Hmm.
But he decided to step away from that to pursuing gaming and streaming because that was his passion. So he had that whole transition going, and I supported him. I remember I followed him and all that. Then, like when he slowly started building his brand, I interviewed him for the first time, and then a year later, I interviewed him again. That's when he got bigger, and now he's like big. Now he like blew up on Twitch. He's a Twitch partner, yeah, Twitch partner. I think that's what you call it. And yeah, so he's someone I've seen from the come up, and I went to college with, and we worked together because we worked the summer camp together. Now just really big on Twitch.
Nice,
So
man.
he probably one of the examples.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love how you can meet someone and then you see kind of the progression over time, where it's like they
Yeah,
start from this very simple spot or they have big aspirations. And you can tell,
yeah,
some people it's like they got that work ethic. You're like they're gonna get that to that place eventually. So it seems like for him,
yeah.
it's kind of been that case. Like he's just been slowly building his own brand and building his own
Oh, he
movement.
was.
So that's super awesome.
Sometimes like when you interview people, you kind of just know when you get to know them. Like I saw the passion and the drive
Hmm.
for that he had in him, and especially the whole transition where he left from playing basketball, like for college, and then to doing something completely different. You kind of just saw it coming. I saw it coming. Like I'm not even surprised. Like how like,
Hmm.
but sometimes when you just have that interaction, you kind of feel that energy.
Yeah, exactly. I started on this show. I started doing like check-in episodes, like a part two episode, where I'll wait a
Nice.
couple years and then I'll catch up with them. And it's cool to do
Nice.
that same thing where it's like you see the goals that we talked about on the first episode, they've come to
Yeah.
fruition now on the second episode. So it's like that's awesome, and it shows that the person is continuing to work and continuing to get better as well, and just strive for new things. So I totally agree with that. Like just being able to talk with different individuals and you see the fact that they have the love for what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's super great, man. And as far as for you on the music side, I know you
Yeah.
said that they kind of inspired you. Those individuals inspired you to get back into being an artist and doing things like that. So what has that been like to go back and now start making your own music, recording, writing? Like, what does your process look like from what it was, when you were just messing around as a kid, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely excelled. Like I say, yeah, like 10 years old, I'd be showing my family just random songs and stuff. And, I mean, yeah, basically, like, after I graduated from college is when, I started taking music I even more serious. And, I've done tons of music videos, collabed with a bunch of different artists, done a bunch of different shows. But now I'm at a point where I actually kind of stepped away from creating new music, from recording, just because I'm pretty much just on other things now. Like pretty much I've been focusing on events. So I've been loving performing my music
Hmm.
because I have a lot of music now where I'm featured or I have songs with other artists and stuff like that, and my own songs where like I just been performing like crazy. That's where I'm at. I feel like right now as an artist, and I've been putting together concerts myself with me and my girlfriend. We pretty much put shows together. We got another one coming up in July. And I manage an artist right now too.
Oh man, so that's a lot. That's a lot on your
Yeah,
plate right there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I haven't been in the studio for myself in a while,
Hmm.
but I have music. Like I have music unreleased stuff. Like I just haven't been ready to put that out yet.
Yeah.
But I'm still like just very well involved, like in just the music
Hmm.
scene. Like I got my first LA show next week in Santa Monica, so
That's
I'm
awesome,
pretty
man.
excited.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
cool to have like a catalog too of existing stuff where you can go and perform and it still like does well, especially with, if you're rapping and for performing for new fans, it's like you're always going to have new people discovering those songs. So it's like you
Yeah.
might not even have to be in a rush to do that. And that led me to a couple other questions as well, as far as, you said you and your wife are, promoting a lot of these shows and putting these events on. What do you guys think is the best way to get the word out there that you're having these shows? Is it mostly word of mouth, social media, mix of both? Like, what do you think has been the best
Definitely.
way?
You know what? It's definitely a mix of both, and I think it's just being strategic, and I think it's a team effort. Like, how I see it is, if it's me and my girl and like my producer who DJs our events. It's me, like that's like the main team, but like you kind of also gotta get the artists involved in a way too. You know what I mean? Get them excited, get them hyped up, and make sure they're taken care of, and they'll have a good experience. Because if they'll have a good experience, then they'll be help hype it up, bring their people and stuff. It's kind of like a domino
Mm-hmm.
effect. So I think the biggest thing besides having a marketing campaign and word of mouth is just really having a good experience of the process of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the day of will be great and all that, but the preparation should also be exciting in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like getting excited to go on a trip.
Mm-hmm.
That excitement, that build up, that last shift, before you have your days off and
Yeah.
stuff, it's like exciting, right? So everyone else is excited to get off work and all that.
Yeah.
And then of course, then when you're at the trip, it's even better.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's more like you get stressed about planning and all that, which can happen, and this and that, and then you're trying to get there to the plane, and then it becomes like stressful. And then all of a sudden when you're at the trip, other shit happen, because I believe like energy is everything.
Mm-hmm.
You keep putting out that bad energy, that stressfulness, then that trip is not going to be that great as you think it might be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just got to make the best out of it. So, that's how I see it with the shows. So, along with the marketing campaign and all that. But yeah.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know how you can become a monthly supporter of the show. So if you click on the show description in your podcast platform, you'll see the word support this podcast toward the bottom, and you can follow that link to sign up. You have the options of donating $1, $5, or $10 a month, and that'll be used towards making the show a better experience for you as the listener. That means new and exciting guests, giveaways, and a lot more that we can continue to provide for you. So feel free to click that link and check it out, or visit anchor.fm/provenknowledge/support to contribute today. And for now, let's get back into the episode. Yeah, I totally feel that one. You kind of have to start off on the right foot to begin with before anything even goes the way you want it to. So, and I'm sure there was learning experiences along the way, especially like the first couple times too, just kind of getting the hang of it. But I'm glad to hear that you guys are having a lot of success with what you're doing there. And that's very awesome, man. So let's talk about, being a manager, because that's obviously something that, some artists do. Like some artists they'll have their thing going on and then they'll manage someone else. So like, what has that been like in your eyes for who you're working with, and what has that experience given you?
Yeah. So the artist I manage, his name is Viliami. So I'm from Orange County, and the city I grew up in, Orange County, was Anaheim. So pretty much where Disneyland and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And Viliami is someone that he grew up in Disneyland too. We kind of grew up around the same time, and it's been great. I never thought I would manage an artist, but I remember I told Jules, which is my wife, my girl, that it has to be the right artist, And I always felt I had the capability of just being a manager, being a coach. That entrepreneur has always been me. And I love being an artist, but I know for sure for me, just being an artist wasn't my main goal.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It never was. Like, I see above that, And, so I knew going into it was going to become very natural. And it was. And he was the type of artist I would want to work with. He had the same work ethic as me, the same mindset, and we're both we have the same hometown. You know what I mean? From the same hometown. So like, that's a big thing. That's part of our relationship. Working as his manager, and we have music together, successful music together too. We perform together all the time, this and that. So it's been cool. Like, I'm his manager, but I'm also just like it's almost like another artist we collab with too.
Yeah.
So it's been good. It's been well. It's taught me a lot, but it's definitely pushed me, and I feel like it's helped me I think it's helped me put myself in the right rooms, with the right people. Because I feel like a lot of times when you go to events and stuff, you say you're a manager, most times it's crazy. It's just crazy how the industry is. But when you say you're a manager instead of you're just saying you're an artist, they take you a little more
Hmm.
serious. And sometimes you have to use that, to get where you need to get.
Yeah. And I definitely love that because it sounds like the relationship you guys have is very organic too. You know what I mean? Which is how it
100%.
should be. And I feel like a lot of artists, especially when they're like new or they're just starting out, they're just in such a
Yeah.
rush to have a manager just to say, "Oh, I have a manager." You know what I mean? But they don't have
Yeah.
a reason for like why. You know what I mean? And there's no real like strategy behind it. And it's like I
No.
feel like the situation you guys have is very very mutually beneficial, and it's like you both get something out of that relationship, and you believe in each other as well, and you believe in him and he believes in what you're doing. So that's
Oh
how
yeah.
I always feel that's how it should be. So
No, 100%. I mean, yeah, we always had a very good open communication, and like he took my criticism like when it comes to like certain things, or like look, like we got to get this done, blah blah blah, like. But yeah, that's how it should be, man.
mhm.
It's just I think like managers and artists like not any manager can just manage any artist. Like that connection has to work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like have to have that relationship, that good friendship, if anything, first.
it's just like collaborating, like you said, you have to have
Yeah,
the conversation before you even get started to see if it's the right energy. So I
yeah,
definitely love
exactly.
that, man. And as far as kind of just freeing your mind from things, because I know that all trying to balance all that, I imagine, is very hectic. So it's like,
Yeah,
how do you kind of balance that on the day to day, as far as taking breaks during the day or just going to live your everyday life? Like, how do you think that's been going recently?
it's been good, man. I mean, look, like I still work. Like I am not an art. I'm not at a position yet where like I am, living off everything for music and stuff. Because it's not like that. It's not
Hmm.
like that right away.
Yeah.
So like not only are doing that, I'm still working. Other jobs I have and other side hustles I have. And how do I balance it? I don't know, man. I think I've just. I mean, I'm kind of just always been good at just coordinating certain things. And I have help too. It's not just me. It's not just my girl. Like we have a couple other people that help us out with certain roles, certain things that we need to get done.
Hmm.
So I think it's just all about just having a balance and being strategic, and being organized. I think being organized is probably gonna be a big thing.
Yeah.
And also like I'm very big on mental health and all that. So like I know when I need to give myself a mental like break for like a day or even like a few hours, where like what, let me just chill out for a second
Hmm.
before I go back and do whatever I was gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just that balance.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so important to know your limits. Like, and I feel
Yeah.
I feel that takes
Yeah.
time too. Is just because you almost have to face burnout a couple times, and then you're like, okay, I can't really do it that way next time. So next time I gotta have more of a schedule where I'm gonna allocate this time during the day to do these things, and then I'm gonna take the other time to have to myself. You know what I mean? So I definitely think it's a learning curve, just like anything else. But once you do it more and more, you start getting the hang of it. You know what I mean? Like it becomes a little easier over time. And
Yeah. Hundred
but
percent.
I feel you there with the job too, because I'm the same way. Just have to still do the 9 to 5 and stuff, and just try to figure it all out. But if you
Yeah.
really love it too, you make it work. You know what I mean? You figure out how to make it
Exactly.
work. So I definitely commend
Exactly.
you for doing that, man, and having all this stuff
Appreciate
going
it.
on. So last few questions here. These are ones I
Yeah.
ask on every episode. The first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself a
Shit.
piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
Damn. You're making me feel old, bro. Nah, I'm just kidding. 10 years ago, and what would I tell myself? I would say, give me a second. My bad.
It's a
I'm trying.
thought-provoking question, so this always gets people.
No, I know. I'm really trying to think. What would I really tell? Because there's a lot of things I think I would tell myself. I would say, try everything. Definitely keep going, and don't let all the distractions, um, get in the way. I think that's like probably the main things I would say.
Hmm. So if we flip that then and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself in career, life, everything?
Where would I envision myself in 10 years? What would that be? Okay. I would say by then, I feel my artists I manage will be very successful, which means I think business wise will be successful. Business wise will be successful. The artists I manage will be successful. And I think really just life itself will be successful. I feel like 100% it will happen by then.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I think things will be more established. I think that's the best way I could put it.
Yeah, you just got to keep making the little steps along the way. You know what I mean? To get there.
No.
So, and do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
I would say, don't limit yourself. Try everything, even if it doesn't work. Because if you tried something and it doesn't work, at least you know now it didn't work instead of asking what if. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
And stay a positive attitude. You know, and mental health is just as important as physical health. Because I'm really big on that. I'm really big on therapy and stuff like that. And if you can get your mental health right, and make sure you're good on that side, then it's like a domino effect, and it's really gonna help you improve on everything else that you want to achieve. Because I think a lot of people just get in their own way, you know. And I'm a go-getter. I've put myself in uncomfortable positions, and I've failed, and I've succeeded, and I don't have any regrets on that.
Yeah, love that, man. Couldn't have said that any better. And man, that's all I have for you today. Once again, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to join me and. We're definitely gonna have to do that part 2 for sure, because we did kind of rapid fire today. I enjoyed this, so but we'll have to get a part 2 going. So
I do want to say, man, because I remember when you sent me that email, I get emails from producers often, and sometimes like some of the emails I'm like, it seems either
spam,
like fishy or whatever, or I'm like whatever. But nah, man, yours caught my attention, and I knew it was like legit, and I'm glad it was. So I just want to say I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem, man. And keep doing your thing. I'm looking forward to everything you got coming up, man. So thank you again.
For sure, man.
Thanks everyone for listening today. That was episode 161. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.